Memory feels perfect. It plays back like high-def video in my head. But here's the twist. Memory loves to improvise. Today I'm unpacking 9 mind-bending memory myths. Think Monopoly Man, Pikachu, and that Darth Vader moment. I'll show the real images and clips first, then break down the brain science in simple steps. Psychologists have a name for this: the Mandela Effect. It's when big groups share the same wrong memory. Why does it happen? Because memory is reconstructive. We remember the idea of a thing, then our brains fill gaps with details that fit patterns we already know. Fancy tycoon? Our mind adds a monocle. Famous scientist names end in stein? Our mind nudges a kid book title to match. Social media repeats the wrong detail, and boom, now it feels true. Here's how we'll roll. Proof first, then the why. I'll point at the source shot, the logo, the script line, and then explain the brain trick. Patterns, context, repeats, or low-quality copies that blur tiny parts. Speed tip: when in doubt, go back to the original. One quick look at a clean image or clip can settle the whole argument fast. What's the craziest thing you remember that turned out to be wrong? Share your memory bloopers below. Number 9 is a board game icon. And after that, we jump to a galaxy far, far away. Number 9 starts with a face you know by heart. Rich suit, mustache, top hat. Your brain wants to add a monocle. But Mr. Monopoly never wore one. Every official box and mascot image, going back to the 1930s, shows 2 eyes with no glass. The only times you may have seen a monocle were joke posts, a kid's banknote, or fan art. The real character is monocle-free. Why do we feel sure he had one? Pattern power. Cartoons trained us to expect old-timey millionaires with canes and monocles. Add in a different mascot who actually wears a monocle, and memory blends the looks. You glance once, then years later you remember the stereotype, not the source. This is the core of the Mandela Effect. Our minds build a simple story that fits the vibe. Rich guy equals monocle. Then a meme repeats it, and repetition feels like proof. Speed tip: pull up a clear photo of the standard Monopoly box. 2 eyes, no monocle. Every time. When the image in your head and the source disagree, trust the source. We solved one game night myth. Next up, one of the most quoted lines in movie history, and it's not the line you think you know. Number 8 goes full epic. You think you hear it in your bones. Luke, I am your father. But in The Empire Strikes Back, the final cut plays a different truth. The line is, no, I am your father. No name, just the blow. How did the wrong version win? Our brains like tidy context. Adding the name makes the quote self-contained for jokes, t-shirts, and sketches. Early promotions and years of parodies repeated the snappier line, so the remix replaced the real thing in our heads. That's the power of repetition plus logic. Your mind edits for clarity, then locks the edit. What I love here is the clean test. Play that scene or check the official script. You will hear the exact words, "No, I am your father." It still chills me. It also proves a bigger point. Even iconic moments are not safe from confident errors. Speed tip: whenever a quote is everywhere, watch the original scene. Memes are loud, the source is louder. If Jedi memories can wobble, what about childhood storybooks? Number 7 is a cozy family of bears with a name many of us quietly misspelled for years. Number 7 hits the bookshelf. I grew up on those bear family stories too. I can still picture the yellow spines. Here's the reveal. It's Berenstein with stain, not Berenstein with stein. From the very first book in the early 1960s, the covers, author names, and library records all spell Berenstein. So why do so many remember the other version? Familiar endings trick us. We've seen Einstein and Frankenstein a million times. Stein feels right in English-speaking brains, so our memory quietly flips the letters to match the common pattern. Years go by, and the wrong ending feels baked in. This is a textbook Mandela Effect, a shared, confident error formed by pattern bias, then reinforced by friends, posts, and old fuzzy copies that make letters look mushy. Speed tip: search an early edition cover or a library catalog entry. The name pops clear as day, Berenstain. One clean look beats years of fuzzy memory. That clears one childhood spelling. Now let's talk logos again. An underwear tag that many of us can picture with a basket it never had. Number 6 is juicy. Number 6. Tastes like fruit and feels like fall. You can see the apples, grapes and leaves. And probably a woven cornucopia, right? Here's the truth. The fruit of the Loom logo never used a cornucopia. Not in the 1910s, not in the 1970s, not today. It's always been just fruit and leaves. So how did the basket sneak into memory? Harvest imagery. Our brains tie fruit to horns of plenty, Thanksgiving art, and grocery signs. A few pop culture mentions and misremembered ads nudged that basket into the mental picture. Over time, the false detail stuck harder than the real design. I dug through old ad art and tags. Clean scans show the same thing every time. No basket, no horn. Just fruit. The company even joked about the myth recently and confirmed the logo never had it. That's a perfect example of how a make-sense detail becomes a shared illusion. Speed tip. Check any real tag photo. If you spot a basket, it's a knockoff or a mock-up. Underwear logos are tricky enough. Up next, number 5. An electric mouse with a tail most of us colored wrong in our heads. Number 5 is pure nostalgia. Pikachu is bright yellow, rosy cheeks, thunder in a tiny package. Many fans swear the tail has a black tip, but the official design shows a fully yellow tail. No black at the end. So where did that little stripe come from in memory? Mix-ups. Pikachu's pre-evolution Pichu has a dark tail detail. Later, female Pikachu got a heart-shaped tail end, which added even more confusion. Our brains also love symmetry and high-contrast accents, so we add a dark cap that looks right on a cartoon silhouette. Repeat that image across memes and you get a sturdy false memory. Want a fast check? Look at original game sprites from the 1990s or any official anime still. The tail end is yellow. Always. Speed tip. When in doubt, compare 2 or 3 early sources. If they all match, your memory may be the outlier. By the way, if this breakdown is hitting that sweet spot between fun and facts, tap subscribe and ride with me on Crazy Top 10. It helps a ton. Now, number 4 takes us into a classic fairy tale and a line that Disney tweaked in a very famous scene. Number 4 looks into the glass. People quote it all the time, mirror, mirror on the wall. But Disney's Snow White does not say that. The evil queen says, magic mirror on the wall. Magic, not mirror twice. So what caused the flip? 2 streams got crossed. The old Brothers Grimm tale in German uses a phrase that translates to mirror, mirror. Over time, that version passed through books, stage shows, dubs, and playground lore. Meanwhile, the 1937 film used magic mirror. Our brains merged the two into one famous line that never actually appears in the movie. This is the remix effect in action. Different versions collide, and the catchier one wins the memory fight. The fix is simple. Speed tip. Watch the scene from the original film. You will hear magic mirror on the wall. Once you hear it clean, the double mirror version sounds off. With mirror myths sorted, let's bite into number 3. It's small, it's sweet, and it is missing a mark many of us think we saw on the wrapper. Number 3. Breaks a candy habit. Many people picture this logo as 2 short words with a little dash in between. But the official brand mark is one single word. KitKat No Hyphen. Why the mix-up? Language bias and knock hyphen-offs. In text, people sometimes write compound names with a dash because it looks balanced. Some foreign signs or off-brand packages played with a dash, and that small styling choice crept into memory as if it were the real thing. Over years, our brains normalized the version we saw most, not the version that is correct. I like how tiny this detail is, because it shows the scale of the problem. The smaller the piece, the easier it is to bend in our heads. Sharp lines blur, in low dash sneaks in, and suddenly, it's part of childhood. Speed tip, grab any current wrapper or check a brand guide image. One word, no dash. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now that you can spot a missing hyphen, Number 2 is a microscopic costume twist from a galaxy far, far away. Gold, gold, gold. Except not quite. Number 2 shines with a secret. C3PO looks fully golden in your mind, right? In the original 1970-7 Star Wars, his right lower leg, the piece below the knee, was silver. You can spot it in wide shots and bright scenes. Later special editions and some releases polished the look and made that part appear gold, which helped the all-gold memory spread. This is a great case of edits shaping recall. New reviewers saw the updated version. Toy runs and posters leaned into the shiny gold. Over time, the subtle silver piece vanished from the mental model, even though the original frames still show it. Want to lock it down? Pause an early cut during the Tatooine scenes. The silver section glints against the sand. Once you see it, you won't miss it again. Speed tip: when versions change, compare the earliest available release. Small production tweaks can rewrite what we think we saw. With a droid leg set straight, we reach number 1. It's not a logo or a quote. It's a whole country that many of us place in the wrong spot on the map. Number 1. Redraws the world, just a bit. Many people picture New Zealand tucked off the right side of Australia, almost level with it, or even drifting north. The truth sits lower and farther out. New Zealand is about 2,000 kilometers southeast of Australia, around 40 degrees south, and roughly 175 degrees east. So why the wrong mental map? Projections bend reality. Flat world maps, especially the Mercator type most of us saw in school, stretch and squash areas. Southern oceans look smaller, islands drift. Some more maps even cropped New Zealand out completely. After years of glancing, our brains store the shortcut version, not the globe. The fix is simple and kind of fun. Speed tip: open any interactive globe, find Australia, slide down and to the right. There's New Zealand, farther south than you probably remember. That's our 9. We started with a board game tycoon and ended with a whole country. Now let's close with fast habits you can use to outsmart your own memory. We just rechecked 9 big shared memories with real evidence. Every time, the source beat the story in our heads. That's the lesson. Memory is a builder, not a camera. It keeps the idea, then fills the gaps with patterns, repeats, and vibes. Here are simple habits I use on shoots and deep dives. 1. Go back to the source, logo files, scripts, early editions. 2. Slow down before sharing. If a detail feels perfect, confirm it. 3. Look for multiple early examples. If separate originals match, odds are you've got the truth. Proof beats vibes. If you had fun learning how the brain edits reality, hit subscribe and stick around on Crazy Top 10. I've got more wild breakdowns on the way. Like and share this with a friend who always argues quotes. Thanks for watching. Which Mandela effect do you think should be next on the list? Drop your suggestion and any proof you can find, covers, scans, clips, down below. I'll feature my favorite in a future episode. See you in the next one.